afternoon, and welcome to the 111 S.O.G Communications Basic Training course. In this training, we're only covering the bare minimum basics of communications. We'll be going over your hotkeys, as well as setting a shortwave radio and an additional channel for the shortwave radio, and also setting long-range communications and underwater communications. So we're going to start first with your hotkeys. Press Escape and go to Configure, Controls. From there, you're going to select Multiplayer. And you just want to basically make sure everything below Push to Talk is empty. All right. Once you're done with that, if you made any changes, press OK. Then you're going to go to Configure Add-ons. Now, typically, you'll start up at the top on Ace Common. Just press this arrow, scroll all the way down to TFAR. And you just want to make sure that there are a few basic buttons set up. First, open your shortwave radio menu. You want that set to Control P. Long range, Alt P, and underwater or DD, Shift P. Once you set those, you can have these shortwave channels set or you can delete them. It's completely up to you. And you can have these long range set or you can delete them. It's up to you. At a minimum, you may want to have 1, 2, and 3 potentially up, depending on how much you're switching through. But in all honesty, it's not 100% necessary. Then you're going to scroll all the way down until you see shortwave transmit. You're going to make sure that's set to caps lock. Shortwave transmit alt should be empty, and additional should be tilde. That's the button just above your tab. Long range transmit should be control caps lock. Alt should be empty. Additional can be Y, but it's not necessary. And your underwater transmit should be control tilde. And no alt should be set for that. Once you've done that, if you've made any changes, go ahead and press OK. And then Escape. All right, so now we can get into the bare bones of it. Now, I already have my communication set up, but I will walk you through it anyway. As you can see, Nightmare, Spartan, Sandman, and Nomad are the 4 elements along with Talon. And they all have their individual channels. Most of them, you'll notice, are the same. Nightmare, 111-551. It's short range and long range. And their team communications is going to be channel 2, frequency 100. Ignore the channels here. We are still under a little bit of construction. Spartan, 111-551, long range, short range. And team channel or team communications, channel 2, frequency 200. Sandman will be channel 2, frequency 300. And finally, Nomad, channel 2, frequency 400. Again, short range is always going to be the same. That will be a command channel that you may end up having to set as an alternate channel. We'll get into discussion about how to do that in just a moment. First, let's talk about setting up standard communications. So for short range, you're going to press Control P, and that's going to bring up your radio. Now, as you can see, I already have channel 1 set, but I'm going to show you how to do it. So first, you're going to go to CLR and clear the frequency. No matter what frequency is on, you're going to clear that freak. You're going to type 111. That's your command channel. You're going to press Enter. So now we have short range communication set up. As you can see, I have 2 gentlemen standing by. So I'm going to test the shortwave communications now. Nightmare, this is Sandman. Frequency check 111.
Sandman, this is Nightmare. I get you 5x5.
10-4. Thank you very much. All right, so now you can see that my short range communications is up. You noticed that it said that I was transmitting down at the bottom. And of course, I got a response back on frequency 111. So how do I set up a secondary frequency? Well, it's pretty simple. You're going to do pretty much the same thing that you already did. So first you're going to hit Control P, and you're going to hit Next Channel. You're going to go ahead and hit Clear and type in whatever your secondary channel is. For the purposes of this video, it's 222. You're going to press Enter, and then you're going to press the left arrow key here to set additional channel. You'll notice that it pops up as an A. Now, for me personally, I prefer to have things in my left and right ear if I'm going for an additional channel. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. If you press Control and right, you'll notice that my additional is right only. And then if I go back, this is very important. Go back to your main channel, because that is your command channel. That's the one you're always going to be on, and that's going to be your caps locks channel. I'm on 111. And then I'm going to go Control left. Now 111 is in my left ear. 222 is in my right ear. So I'm going to do a quick comms check. Spartan, this is Sandman. Comms check, channel 222.
Sandman, this is Spartan. Region Lima Charlie, over.
Nightmare, this is Sandman. Comms check 111.
Nightmare's got you on 111.
So as you can see, I was able to hear both. They were both able to hear me, even though they are on different channels. So now my additional is set and my main channel is set. Now I'm going to go over setting long range communications. Nightmare, this is Sandman. Please set long range communications. So I'm going to press
Nightmare copies.
Alt P. That's going to bring up my long range communications device. Typically it's going to be a backpack, but in a moment I'll show you another way to do it. As you can see, I'm currently on channel 174.1. So I'm going to clear the frequency and set it for 55.1. As you may remember, is our comms channel for long range there. And then I'm going to press menu and escape. So as you can see, I'm set for 55.1 across the board.
Nightmare transmitting channel 1 freak 55.1. Copy.
Now, as you can see, he is on long range comms and we are on the proper channel. So I'm going to press Control Shift. Dagger, this is Sandman. I copy you loud and clear on 55.1. As you can hear, it's a different sound.
10-4.
Completely different sound for long range communications. So it's not going to be easy to mix up. Now, the reason that I put my additional and my command comms in different ears is so that I can differentiate between who's talking to me, because I may be talking to two separate teams. Now I'm going to show you another fun little feature, setting a long range communications device in a helicopter. So I'll see you all by the helicopter. Hello, sir.
How are you?
All right, so now we are at one of our vehicles. This is the little bird from the 111. So any vehicle, save for two devices, it would be those two over there. We'll go over further, will have a long-range communications device in it. To set that device is exactly the same as how you would set it outside of a vehicle. Alt and P. It brings up the little bird's communication device. In order to clear the frequency, you're just going to do the same thing, clear 55.1, and then set frequency. And then just the same, you're going to press Control Shift. This is Sandman and the Little Bird on Long Range Communications 55.1. How copy?
It's coming in 5x5 on 55.1.
Affirmative, thank you. As you guys will notice, it's even more of a different sound than what you had before. There's really no way to get it confused when you're transmitting, which one you're going to be transmitting on. All right. Now I'm going to have Dagger take us to a wet location so that we can test underwater communications, and I'll go over how to set those momentarily. All right. Dagger's been kind enough to fly us over to the water's edge here to set underwater communications. And the way that you're going to do that is by pressing Shift P. Now, the underwater communications, if you try to set it to a frequency that doesn't allow, we're just going to go with 1 and hit set. You'll notice that it gives you the value here. Our underwater comms is always channel 40. So clear frequency with the mode button. Type in 40 and set the frequency. Gentlemen, set your underwater comms if you haven't already.
Yeah, what are we currently using for 40?
Yes, sir. As you'll notice, our comms guys all know, our operators all know the frequency that we use.
Got it.
So now our comms are set. I'm going to have Dagger and Snake go into the water along with myself, and we'll go over underwater comms.
Snake, according to your stream, you were just setting your long-range comms to 40, not your underwater transceiver.
Oh no.
You're making me really learn this editing software there, Snake. It's going to be Shift P, Snake. Shift Papa. And how did you not notice the difference between your long-range comms and your
I totally would have gotten that. I was testing you.
Mm-hmm.
You passed.
Sure. That would have looked real good under the water. All right. So what am I going to do? I got to fucking add, oh, you know what? Yeah, this is perfect. All right. Okay, so now our underwater comms are set, and we are going to go into the water and test them out. All right, everybody, dive in. Now, if you remember, your underwater comms is Control tilde. Check, check, underwater comms, check.
Got your 5x5, how me?
Got you 5x5. Snake, come across again.
Got you, William Charlie.
Affirmative, thanks so much. Dagger, if you can, do me a favor and just talk without underwater comms for me. Pressing tab or anything. So as you guys can tell, underwater comms not happening. The other thing that's not happening, you can't use a radio underwater, even though I'm set, and you can't use long range underwater. All right, I am going to go above the water. Gentlemen, stay underwater, and I'll be right back. So another thing that you'll notice, I'm going above the water. I can now use my communications, but the gentleman underneath cannot hear it, and I can't use diver radio on the air. All right, gentlemen, we're returning to the chopper. Thanks so much for your assistance.
Team 4, glad to serve.
All right, coming out of the water here. So, as you noticed, we went over just a few small items, guys. Setting your hotkeys for communications, along with setting short-range radio and an alternate channel for short-range radio. Then we went over setting long-range communications out of a vehicle and in a vehicle. And finally, underwater communications. Again, we don't typically set an alternate channel for long-range communications. And there is no alternate channel for underwater communications. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you for the next training.